line with achieving our Gandhian principles. That is Article 40. Gandhi, very question doubt irbaradilli. First and foremost one, sir, why Gandhi? Why Gandhi? Because majority of the Gandhian principles or the Gandhian approach is as being given up by our, I can say, the father of our nation. With respect to contribution done towards Indian constitution, despite he was not a part of our constitution making, his prominence was felt in the form of preamble. It is Gandhian approach. With respect to what? With respect to my rural development. Gandhian approach to rural development. Exactly. Gandhian approach. Highly important one. This Gandhian approach ಬಗ್ಗೆ question direct ಕೇಳಲ್ಲ, but you should use this Gandhian approach in all your RD. They won't be direct question on Gandhian approach. But the Gandhian approach need to be value added even in your measures or in your way forward or in your significance. Highly important one. Ella kade, even geography, economics, RD, natural science, everywhere. Now, with respect to Gandhian approach, the first and foremost one will be my introduction, alva. The first and foremost one will be my introduction. ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಹೊಸಬರಿಗೆ ಡೌಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಸರ್ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಸೇಮ್ ಬ್ಲೂ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಬರ್ಸ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ, ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್, ಯೂನಿಕ್ನೆಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಟಾಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅಂತ. ಹೌದೋ ಇಲ್ಲೋ? ಡೌಟ್ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ಮತ್ತೆ ಡೌಟ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಡೌಟ್ ಬರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ? ದಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್. ಡೌಟ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಬರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್, ಯೂನಿಕ್ನೆಸ್. ಸಿ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೈ ವರ್ಚುವಲ್ ಬ್ಲೂ ಪ್ರಿಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ವಿಲ್ ದ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ರಿಮೇನ್ ಸೇಮ್? Content varies. Content, obviously, this remains same, but my content varies. If I'm addressing agriculture, will be different. If I'm addressing Gandhian approach, will be different. If I'm addressing any of the other topics like dryland farming, it will be different. But this is my virtual blueprinting. Ella cover ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ at least 3 pointers. 3 pointers. Now, what do you mean by? Now, what do you mean by? What do you mean by the definition of Gandhian approach? Gandhian approach to our rural development. It's all. Or can I start with decentralized one? Is it Gandhian approach was given only by Gandhi? Here. Common question here is Gandhian approach is given only by Gandhi? Obviously no. Gandhianism is nothing but the focusing on the decentralized model and the Gandhian approach is nothing but focusing majorly on the decentralized model. Sir, our obbre kotidare no, but majority of the concepts has been given by Gandhi. Majority of the concepts which has been given up by Gandhi. Very question doubt irbaradilli. First and foremost one, sir, why Gandhi? Why Gandhi? Because majority of the Gandhian principles or the Gandhian approach which has been given up by our, I can say, the father of our nation, that is Gandhiji. But ella avare kotidare andre no. Just this or Gandhian approach which has been value added by a number of, I can say, the thinkers also. A number of thinkers, a number of freedom fighters also. Done? Example beku andana? It is an evolution. It's evolution. No, original no. Like how Gandhian approaches got developed. Now with respect to definition ಏನಪ್ಪ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, it's a Gandhian approach. Can I say Gandhian approach is a decentralized model? Howda? Gandhian approach is a decentralized model. Gandhian approach is a decentralized model which focuses on what? It is a highly important one. Decentralized model, not centralized one. It is a decentralized model which focuses on exactly. It is which focuses on the 3 major important aspects. One is community participation. The second major important one, that is self-sufficiency of villages. And the third major important one, that is harmonious coexistence with the nature. highly important one. While focusing on decentralized model, his major core aspect was, the core aspect was community na participate ಮಾಡಿ. Second one, you need to achieve self-sufficiency. Self-sufficiency. The third major important one here is harmonious coexistence. Harmonious coexistence. Who is the owner of the environment? No one. It's our communities. Or I can say, it is no one is the owner of our environment. Rather, we are a part of this environment. We are a part of this environment, and we need to follow our coexistence model. That is neither over exploitation nor conservation of environment. You have to balance it. That is nothing but sustainable development. Sustainable development. Okay, Alva. Yes, this is majorly my Gandhian approach as a model which focuses on decentralized governance while including whom? That is community participation, achieving self-sufficiency of villages, and the last one, it is my harmonious coexistence with nature. Harmonious coexistence with nature. Okay, alva. Nodi nanu ellu Gandhi anta mention madilla. Approach ashte. It is about Gandhian approach. It is not been given by Gandhi. It has been given by the other thinkers also. Sir, examples kodi andre Sriman Narayana. Take an example of Jai Prakash Narayan. Take an example of, I can say, even Nehru contributed to this. Take an example of even Mother Teresa contributed to this. Even to some extent, even Bose contributed to this. Ellaru contribution. Yes, done. Highly important. Adukoskara barsila nanili. Second major important one. The second major important one. Others, yeah, exactly. You can talk about trusteeship also. Nahi talim, ella baribodu. Gram Odaya, Sarvodaya, ella baribodu. But can I write in definition? Obviously no. But major focuses on this decentralized model. That is by including all the three. That is by including all the three persons. No, no. Salient features only. What is the uniqueness about? What is the uniqueness about Gandhian approach? Idondu heli okkobiಡ್ತೀನಿ. Okay, at least you are in flow anta. What should be my uniqueness? Should I need to write principles of Gandhi? Obviously no. I need to write about uniqueness. What is the uniqueness about Gandhian approach? Huh. You got the point. Huh. Grassroots level? Exactly. Huh. Exactly. Yes. Local self-government. Adikinta, can I say the uniqueness about this Gandhian approach is decentralized governance, or I can say governance at local level. Or can I say that is a third tier government has been established? Third tier government, or I can say that is decentralized federalism. Yes, Bariboda. Yes, or else I can say democracy at grassroots level. It is, I can say, as simple as that. Democracy near to our doorstep, or I can say democracy at grassroots level. Democracy at grassroots level. Exactly. Okay, we can also write about focus on core also, bottom up approach also. But we want a core part because it's uniqueness, alva. Because it's uniqueness. It is focusing majorly on democracy at grassroots level. That is followed by a fiscal decentralization. Fiscal decentralization, etc. What about the stats or facts or examples? Stats or facts bari boda ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Okay, very good. Exactly. That is Gandhian ideologies has been included in our DPSP also. ಮಾತಾಡಬಹುದು. Second one, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ super. Which one? 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, which are in line with what? Which are in line with achieving our Gandhian principles. That is Article 40. Article 40 talks about what? establishment of the government at the local level. That is nothing but panchayats. Our basis ಮೇಲೆ we have implemented what? 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. ಇಲ್ಲಿ major one is 73rd. Major one is 73rd. ಅದು ಬರಿಬೋದಾ? Okay, ಮೂರನೇದು. Can I give some examples? Can I give some examples? That is Gramodaya and Sarvodaya. ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದಾ? Gramodaya and Sarvodaya also we can give. Yes or no? We can provide Gramodaya or I can say Sarvodaya. Now first starting with the first and the foremost one. What is the contribution given it to Indian Constitution? Yes, Gandhi was a part of Constituent Assembly. Nodi, ಎಷ್ಟು influence anta. Though he was not a part of constitution making, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಲೀಡರ್ಸ್ ಹೆಂಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಇದ್ರು ಇನ್ಫ್ಲುಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಲೈಕ್ ಅಮಿತ್ ಶಾ, ಲೈಕ್ ಮೋದಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲುಯೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಫೆಲ್ಟ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಔಟ್ ದ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ. ನೋಡಿದಿರಲ್ಲ, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಮೋದಿ, ನೋಡಿಲ್ವಾ? ಹಾ, ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸಸ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ 20 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ಗೆ. ಓಕೆ, 20 seconds. Okay. Yes, Anusha, we can also mention about if the villages perishes, India will perish too. Very good. Yes, we can mention. With respect to contribution done towards Indian Constitution, Yautara Andhra, despite he was not a part of our constitution making, his prominence was felt in the form of preamble. That is equality and justice, social, economic and political justice, preamble ali. Second one, his contribution towards our Gandhian principle of DPSP. That is which article? Major article, it is my Article 40. Major article, it is my Article 40. Now what Article 40 says that? Article 40 says that establishment of local self-government, and based on this contribution we have implemented which Constitutional Amendment Act? It is Constitutional Amendment Act, that is 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, but came into effect 1993, and we have completed 30 years of 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ 2023 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ we have completed 30 years of the establishment of the act. So ಇದೆಲ್ಲ okay. What about second one? This is the prominence with respect to, that is the Indian Constitution. What about second one? The second one here is the ideology of the Gandhi. What is the ideology of Gandhi? It is establishment of Gram Swaraj. Establishment of what Swarajya? It is Gram Swaraj. Establishment of Gram Swaraj andre eno? It is self-sufficiency of villages. Nothing but we can achieve Ram Rajya. Ivella important nodi sati. Establishment of Ram Rajya. It is via achieving or via establishing Gram Swaraj. Is the introduction clear? Definition, uniqueness, stats or facts examples. Definition, it's a Gandhian approach, talks about majorly about decentralized model which focus on community participation, self-sufficiency of villages, followed by I can say the last one, it is harmonious coexistence with that is environment. Third one. Next one, it is with respect to illana hint gottagtiya nanu ಏನು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಏನು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಯ್ತು? Community participation, it is from political one. Second one, self-sufficiency of villages, which majorly includes my social as well as economical one. Last one, it is my environmental one. And wherever Gandhi is placed, he is placed at the top. That is nothing but he has contributed immensely towards my social, the political, and towards my economic field. Highly important definition. Second major important one, if you're talking about democracy, it is a democracy at the grassroots level. Nothing but democracy, political one, as well as that is the social aspect also. Near to the people, near to people. Whereas salient features includes majorly my Indian Constitution preamble, DPSP, majorly about Gram Swaraj. That is the social aspect again. Social aspect as well as self-sufficiency of villages. Okay, now done. Next major important one. What the next one? What is the next major important blueprint? What the next one? Second one. Second one, it is the origin. The second one, it is the origin. Second one, it is the origin. Now, what is the origin of this Gandhian approach? What is the origin of the Gandhian approach? Majorly Gandhi promoted or Gandhi focused majorly on or development of rural villages. Rural villages. There was a question. Yesterday there was a question. Okay, sir, rural development actually it has started post actual independence alva. And why have you discussed from ancient? Okay, just a question. But what I'm saying is, what do you think? See, obviously, if there is rural, obviously there should be development also, alva. If there is population, there should be development also. Development can be not as we see in today's life, but it includes if I'm providing some livelihood opportunities, if I'm providing some food, if I'm giving some water, obviously everything comes under a rural development. That is nothing but what? Accrued development of rural areas. But after our independence, we focused immensely towards the exact and precise development of rural areas. But munche hengittu crude. It's not a precise one. But after independence, it's a precise one. Yes. Okay, Alva. This is our exact one. Adukoskara we have started from our ancient ida. But if you are talking about Gandhian approach, can I write ancient? Can I write ancient? Obviously, no. With respect to origin of this Gandhian approach, majorly it talks about the Gandhian phase. Now, what was the Gandhian phase? Gandhian phase? When Gandhi returned back to India, 1915, that is Jan 9th, 1915. Jan 9th, 1915, Jan 9th. It is Pravasi Bharat Divas. Jan 9th, 1915, the Gandhi returned back to India. Gandhi returned back to India. Elinda. It is from South Africa. It is from South Africa. It is Bangkok in Allah. It is South Africa in that. Okay. It is from South Africa. That is after finishing all his duty as a lawyer. And he returned back to India. And this Jan 9th, every year we celebrate it as Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. And convention ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it is once in 2 years. Once in 2 years. That is biennial session. Annual alla, biennial. Annual ಅಂದ್ರೆ once in 2 years. Once in 2 years. Biannual ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎರಡು ಸತಿ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ. Hope you're getting highly be cautious. It is Jan 9th, it is 1915, Gandhi returned back to India. And till when did Gandhi died? It is an assassination of Gandhi. Yavaga? 19? It is, exactly. As simple as that. It is the January 1948 ali. It is the death of Gandhi. And now, can I say, this phase we call it as the core aspect of Gandhian approach? Can I say, can't I say, Gandhian approach? Obviously, after Gandhi death also, there is an addition of different Gandhian approaches also. But this phase we call it as the core aspect of the development of Gandhian ideologies. Or I can say Gandhian approach. We call it as what? This phase, that is 15 to 1948. This phase we call it as what? This phase we call it as the core, I can say, development. Core development of what? Core development of, that is Gandhian approach or Gandhian philosophies. Sir, idaadmele heng develop aitu heli antandre, take an example of Vinoba Bhave. He was a Gandhian follower and he came up with a land reforms after 1950s. In the year 1951 only, Bhudan movement. That is nothing but voluntarily giving of the surplus land. Iವಾಗ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾನು till 1940 stop ಮಾಡಬಹುದಾ? Obviously no. And even till today also, there is a Gandhian approaches which is continuously evolving. But this phase we call it as the core aspect or the core development of, I can say, Gandhian philosophies. Okay, alva. This is my first and foremost a phase in the mother. Second major important one. The second major important one, sir, during which all periods, which all incidences or evidences which led to evolution of Gandhian philosophies. Second one, it is my which all evidences or I can say incidences. Which all incidences which led to molding up of Gandhian approach to our rural development. That's the first and foremost one. Highly important. History gotirbeku, modern history majorly. If you want to study this, Champaran. Exactly the first and foremost one. Initiation of. That is the initiation or the starting up of the working of Gandhi started with respect to Elinda. That is Champaran Satyagraha or Champaran the movement. It is the first CDS combined civil disobedience movement. Civil disobedience movement. The first CDM was started by the Champaran Satyagraha in which year? 1917 only. First and foremost one, it is my Champaran Satyagraha, and is my first and foremost ideology, that is civil disobedience movement. And majorly focusing on the development of farmers or development of rural population has been the focus area during this Champaran Satyagraha. Okay, alva. This is my first one. And the second major important one. Nodi vella nodi amal godagutte yadu ideologies kottidare based on this anta godagutte. For the second one, which movement? It is Ahmedabad. It is Ahmedabad mill strike. Again nodi, he or I can say Gandhi namge idea kodbeku antandre, after this Champaran Satyagraha, he rejected commercial ideologies or commercial cultivation of agriculture. He went for self-sufficiency. First really. Second one, after my Ahmedabad mill strike, he went for what? He went for rejecting of the construction of huge industries. And Gandhian approach famously promotes what? Majorly promotes the cottage industries, development of Khadi. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ನಾವು ಬರೆಯೋಣ, ಬಟ್ ಅದ್ರ ಇಂಟಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿ, ನೆನಪಿರಲಿ. It is development of Khadi, development of ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಷನ್. ಸರ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ರೀಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಹೈಲಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 1922 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡೋಣ ಏನೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ರೀಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Now that is the first and foremost ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಹಮದಾಬಾದ್ ಮಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ the first hunger strike ಯಾವಾಗಪ್ಪ ಅಹಮದಾಬಾದ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್? Is it 17 or 18? First 17 or 18 ಇಲ್ಲ 16 it is same year. It was 17 ಅಲ್ಲಿ, same year 17 ಅಲ್ಲಿ done. Highly important one. It was 17 majorly. Third major important one, that is the third major important one, we call it as Kheda Satyagraha. Kheda Satyagraha. Kheda it's in ಎಲ್ಲಿ Kheda it's in Gujarat. ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇದು NCM ಇದು NCM ಅಂದ್ರೆ non cooperation movement has been started majorly started. Kheda Satyagraha, that is the first non cooperation movement. First non cooperation movement. Okay alva, ಇದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ that is Jallianwala Bagh massacre, followed by launching of the you can say non cooperation movement at all India level. Non cooperation movement at all India level, that is 1920 ಇಂದ 22 ವರೆಗೂ. That is fourth major important one. That is evolution ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ fourth major important one. It is my first NCM at all India level. It is no confidence motion Allah. Okay, it is not no confidence motion. That is non cooperation movement at all India level. At all India level, it has been launched by Gandhi under the leadership of Gandhi from ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ 1919 2020 ಇಂದ 22 ವರೆಗೂ. After the burning of the police station, it is 22 ವರೆಗೂ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ Chaura Chauri or Chaura Chaura incident in UP, that is burning of the complete police station. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ he took back this NCM, saying that this is against my ideology, that is non-violence. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ ನೋಡಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. different ideologies of Gandhi has been developed gradually, not in a exact phase. Yes, after fourth one ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲೇನ್ 22 ಇಂದ 30 ವರೆಗೂ ನೋಡಿ. that is 30 ವರೆಗೂ 1930 ವರೆಗೂ 1930 ಸರ್ 1930 ಏನಾಯ್ತು? it is my CD, it is CDM, it is my civil disobedience movement, or I can say Dandi march ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Dandi march from Sabarmati ashram to Dandi coast. ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು? ಖಾಲಿಯಾಗಿ ಬಿದ್ದಿದ್ರಲ್ವಾ? yes or no? this 1922 to 1930 ಏನು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಕಾಯ್ತಿದ್ರು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಬರುತ್ತಾ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ, ಏನೂ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. so they were quite, and this phase, this 8 years, we call it as the Kali phase. ಖಾಲಿ ಫೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಅಂಡ್ ಈ ಖಾಲಿ ಫೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಹಳ್ಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಣ ಅಂಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಡೂ ಸಮ್ ರೀಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್. ದೇ ಫೆಲ್ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟಿವ್ development programs has been took up by the Gandhi and his followers. ಯಾರು ಸರ್ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಫಾಲೋವರ್ಸ್? which majorly includes Gandhi. Second one, which majorly includes Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, which majorly includes ಯಾರು ವಿನೋಬಾ ಭಾವೆ, which majorly includes ನೆಹರು. ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಈ ಫೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ನೆಹರು ವಾಸ್ ಅನ್ ಆರ್ಡೆಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮಿಸ್ಟ್ ಈ ಫೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ಇವನ್ ಮೋತಿಲಾಲ್ ನೆಹರು ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಮೋತಿಲಾಲ್ ನೆಹರು ದೇ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ಡ್, ನಾನು ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂಡ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಇನ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಅಂತ ದೇ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ಡ್ ಸ್ವರಾಜ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ. that is Motilal Nehru, that is Vittal Patel, ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? they established their own organization called as Swaraj Party. ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಖಾಲಿ ಕೂರಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, we need to put a pressure on the Britishers ಅಂತ they started establishing, that is called as Swarajist Party. ಬಟ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದು, ಬಟ್ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಓದಿರ್ತಾರೆ ನೀವು ದೊಡ್ಡವರು. ಓಕೆ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ನಂಗಿಂತ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ majorly it is my constructive development programs, or it's also called as my reconstruction programs. During this phase, that is the huge molding of the different Gandhian principles with respect to rural development took place. Nodi, it is the Gandhian ideologies with respect to rural development. It is not a sudden one, rather it is a gradual one. And the different ideologies has been developed in various stages. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಸರ್, ಯಾವ ತರ ರೀಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ತಗೋತಿದ್ರು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, that is educating the masses in the form of nahi talim ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ we also go for occasional training. While giving a basic education, we need to go for the occasional training also. That is nahi talim. ಬರ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. nahi talim. Second major important one, self-sufficiency of villages. That is major focus on agriculture development. Third one, Khadi, cottage. ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ಚರಕ. ಯಾರೇ ಬಂದ್ರು ಇಂಡಿಯಾಗೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಸಬರ್ಮತಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ತಿರ್ಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. That is called as Khadi. Okay, I'm not insulting, but mood versa. Okay, with respect to the subject, Gandhian ideologies, it is highly important one. That is 1920 to 1930. It was highly you can say a vacant phase, or there was no much, I can say, a revolt against Britishers, and they felt that let's go to villages and we'll develop our villages. That is in the form of the constructive programs, or I can say that is a reconstruction of the villages, reconstruction of the villages into our model villages and the villages. And after 1930, again after 1930, the launching of CDM, launching of CDM. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ CDM ಯಾವಾಗಪ್ಪ ವಾಪಸ್ ತಗೋತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ after our second round table conference ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ at March 34 ಅಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತೆ 34 because there was a first round table conference ಗೆ the INC did not participate, but second ಅಲ್ಲಿ they participated, but it was not as expected as that. But ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ followed by that is which one? That is 1935 Act ಬರುತ್ತೆ 1935 Act. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ we conduct elections. ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ 1935 ಇಂದ till 1942 ವರೆಗೂ ಖಾಲಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಮತ್ತೆ? Hope you're getting 1930 to 19 against 42 ವರೆಗೂ, that is what is 1942? Quit India movement ವರೆಗೂ ಖಾಲಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? And during this period also, that is my fifth one, that is starting from 1934 to 1942 ವರೆಗೂ again ಖಾಲಿ phase. Again they took up what? That is constructive development programs or reconstruction of village program. Reconstruction of village program has been included. That is major focus is on the development of the rural areas. The development of rural areas. Okay, alva? Yes. And after this, the death of Gandhi agate. Death of Gandhi, but followed by the last one year is the post Gandhi, or I can say post death of Gandhi, and even different personalities which has contributed to those ideologies, which includes major one year is Vinoba Bhave, the Bhudan movement. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾರು? Fast ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು. Vinoba Bhave, Bhudan movement, completely agree. Second one, that is JP Narayan. ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಏನಿದು? What is his ideology? JP Narayan. That is total revolution. JP Narayan. Not only influence from India, even from the world also. In the form of Nelson Mandela. USA in the. Who is the person who fought against the blacks? First ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. Who is the person from USA who fought against blacks? It is Martin Luther King. It is from the world, they immensely contributed towards what? That is the development of Gandhian ideologies. That is Nelson Mandela as well as that is Martin Luther King. Okay, alva? Highly important one. Highly important one. This is the evolution with respect to or the origin of the Gandhian ideologies. The evolution of Gandhian ideologies. That is the core phase we call it as 1950 to 1948, and even during 1950 and the 48 also, the contribution done by Gandhi. ಯಾವ phase ಅಲ್ಲಮ್ಮ? First Champaran, second one it is the Ahmedabad, third one it is my Kheda, first NCM, that is at all India level. Followed by first CDM ಯಾವ್ದಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ that is first CDM at all India level, that is in 1930 Dandi March, followed by 1934 to 1942 again the constructive phase. Followed by the post Gandhi, even from India also, even from the world also, they contributed immensely towards the development of Gandhian ideologies with respect to development of rural villages.